Welcome to Bonehead Weekly. And this week's topic, James, was this your idea?
Yes, so there used to be a time. It was called the past. And in the past, there were quite a few shows.
So we just did 2 Bonehead Weekly fun size episodes, and he didn't have anywhere near this much energy.
No.
And he took all these pauses. And this one, he's like, I'm going to talk all the time. Pew, 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 pew. Go, James.
Now I forgot what I was saying. I'm kidding. Anyway,
in the past,
in the before four times. Now, shows used to often, just in case you were joining mid-season or something, have an intro where they would basically have a narrator, often a famous narrator, or somebody on the show at least, tell basically what the premise was. The easy one that comes to mind for me as a nerd is Star Trek, right? Space, the final frontier, these are the voyages, right? So you got this overarching quick view of what the show was going to be about. And that way, if you hadn't watched it since the first episode, it was like, okay, that's who these people are. But it also was a cool way to create catchphrases. That's why still to this day, people that aren't Star Trek fans know Space, the final frontier, right? And so there's a lot of these shows. So I thought, you don't see that as often anymore. There are some shows. I know there's exceptions. Don't send me hate mail, send that to Chad. But just wanted to actually do an episode where we talked about the long forgotten art of the intro and the catchphrases that went with
I honestly can't think of a single show that has opening narration
currently
today. Currently I can't think of one.
There's some good shows with some good openings, like Game of Thrones has a cool opening, Breaking Bad had a cool opening, The Sopranos had a cool opening. But as far as actual narration that explains every week, there's not a ton.
Yeah.
And
a lot of the times because most not most shows, I mean, they're still sitcoms, but most shows are telling a continuous story. So
streaming,
that opening monologue sometimes doesn't play in.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
And streaming. Good point.
And because of streaming, people binge watching, even The Sopranos, which came out in '99. They may not have caught it on HBO, but you could go rent them. And I remember renting them in actual video stores. You guys remember doing these things like a video store?
Oh, yeah.
And getting the 2 or 3 tapes at a time and then bringing them and binging it before binging was a thing. So you just don't do it normally. So what are some of your all's favorites? Do you mind if I go first with one of mine?
No, go ahead.
So this one's
I didn't know the Smurfs had an opening narration. Sorry.
No, it doesn't have an open narration, but I do like the na 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 na, and then it goes to Gargamel.
By the way, it's Burger King right now. I think Burger King has Smurfs cups. There's 30 you can collect with the kids' meals.
I need to go get that. So this is the most famous. Jay, this is probably, you know what? This is second to what you said. I agree. Chad, what do you think? Star Trek may be the most famous?
Yeah, but there's one that's really close.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a couple.
This is the number 2 one. Or if not number 2, it's in the top 3.
If it's not what I think, if you're not going to say what I think you're going to say, I'll be shocked.
You're traveling through another dimension.
Yep.
A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone. I mean, that has to be either number 2 or number 3.
Yeah.
What else is there?
That
people in terms of still can. Because I think James is right. Star Trek people can just quote that and they don't even know. I think people kind of know most of your journey through sight and sound, but they probably can't get it all verbatim. I don't know that I could have done it verbatim without reading it. But what else? As far as some really popular ones, you guys got one?
I mean, one that comes to mind is the answer to that, right? The other network's response: there is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it soft, it goes on and on. But most people, if you say there's nothing wrong with your television set, it's age-based now, but there's enough people that'll go, oh, outer limits.
It's a little tough though. I find that one's
it's not as common.
Yeah,
Twilight Zone has gotten so many reboots that it's back in, and Outer
And
Limits, to
it's-
my knowledge, has had one.
It's
And
iconic.
It's not even a reboot thing as much as it is. I mean, for years, I mean, I moved. I can't tell you the times I've moved either in December, right around Christmas, around New Year, that time, or in the middle of the summer during the 4th of July, where you just had the Twilight Zone for 24 hours on the Sci-Fi Channel, like at Christmas Day, having TBS and the Christmas Story playing for 24 hours, and that's just the expectation. They only changed that a year or two ago that they stopped doing it as much. Pissed me off because I don't have cable anymore. But I mean,
yeah, technically Twilight Zone is streaming. You could just go and hit boom and just let it marathon itself.
Not the same.
In fact,
I know it's not the same.
My
I know it's
Monday
not,
cyber deal to myself was the Blu-ray of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and the second one was they had the Blu-ray complete box set of the Twilight Zone. Knowing that there's 3 different streaming services I could watch it on, I thought
I almost bought it. I almost bought that in the 80s one.
I own the 80s one. The 80s one is
I know you do, but I don't.
Bucks. For $20, it's worth it because there's some good stuff there.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but there's some good stuff there. It's buried. There's just some good stuff there. However, yeah, I just wanted it on the shelf. I wanted all the extras. And as James says, you can't edit it. You can't take it away from me. Why, James? Can they not do that?
Hey, you gotta come in my house. Come get it. See what happens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's another one. All right. Who wants to go next? Because I don't think there's a ton of things I should say about the Twilight Zone.
I'll go because when James brought this up, other than the Twilight Zone, this one came first in my head because other than Night Court, Night Court and Married with Children, this is probably one of my top favorite shows as a kid that I absolutely loved. I never missed an episode. I have actually marathoned this show more than once.
Oh God, it's gonna be the Red Shoe Diaries again. Son of a gun.
God, no. Is there opening? There is opening monologue. Is that an opening monologue?
I've never seen an episode of that show. I'm just literally I picked a show at random.
I seen the beginning of one episode with David Duchovny in a park with a dog, and I'm like, what is this? And I turned it off.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, here's the opening tag. Here's the opening narration. I won't say the whole thing. I'll skip through pieces of it. Theorizing that one could time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the quantum leap accelerator and vanished. He awoke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, and driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. And then I love the last line. Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home. And then you see the blue electricity and the show starts.
Oh boy.
Chad, that's my second one. That's the one. If you hadn't have said it, that was the one I was going to round out.
Yep, it was on my list. It's actually was my second.
And the woman, the woman narrator who I wanted to look up and I didn't get a chance to, she
just call
reads
up narrators.
Yeah.
Sorry. It reminds me of that time I said Mexican bakery and James like, I think they just call it a bakery.
I mean,
it's stuck in my head for 8 years.
Well, anyway, her voice is perfect reading that. And when she says, and his next leap will be the leap home, she breaks a little bit and it's devastating to me. I loved it got me excited for the show every week. It is still, man, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. I just can't, I could sit here and talk about a Quantum Leap for a whole episode of how much I could name every single episode. That's my favorite. But that opening narration, hearing it got me pumped for what was getting ready to come. Even though I know it, I've seen each episode at least 3 times. Just every time I hear the narration, I'm ready to go. So it's up there in mine. It's right up there with Star Trek for me.
Yeah, I agree with it. It may be slightly better than some that are more iconic, but I don't know if it's as iconic. What do you think? Have you watched the new Twilight Zone? Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. I have not. I haven't been able to make myself do it.
I want to. It's on that list of things I haven't got to.
Yeah,
well,
same
I'm just
here.
curious if they have a narration or not.
I am as well, but I didn't want to look that up because I want to watch.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I'm just like having a hard time getting to it because I'm just like, oh, what happens if they mess this up?
You're not motivated to watch it. It's the same reason why every time I go through HBO, I see, White Lotus. I hear good things. Skip.
Yep.
I watched Predator 2 instead. And I knew I knew what I was getting. But I still get giddy watching Predator 2, especially that opening shootout.
Here's why me and Joe is probably a reason why we're friends. I had the same epiphany like last week. I'm like, do I watch White Lotus? Nope, I watched Predator.
Did you really? Did you watch one or two?
I watched the first one because I hadn't seen it in forever. I've seen two like in the last few years, but I hadn't seen one. And I
hadn't seen two and by the way, I was just going to watch the opening scene. I was knuckles deep.
Mm-hmm.
I was knuckles deep an hour, and I was like, "Shit, I got to go to bed." Shit, after he killed Willie in the streets.
I was the same way with Predator, man. I'm like, shit, I got to go to bed. But Jesse Ventura's still alive. So
I know, right? I'm sure White Lotus is an amazing show, but I have yet to get it because I was knuckles deep in the Predator too.
Yeah, I couldn't stop. I had to watch Predator. I'm like, ooh, it's on here too.
James,
what do you have?
One of mine is, and you're gonna know exactly when I started, and that actually is how iconic it is. But you have to be of a certain age and a certain level of geekdom. Here we go. Dr. David Banner, physician, scientist, searching for a way to tap into the hidden strengths that all humans have. Then an accidental overdose of gamma radiation alters his body chemistry. And now, when David Banner grows angry or outraged, a startling metamorphosis occurs. The creature is driven by rage and pursued by an investigative reporter. The creature is wanted for a murder he didn't commit. David Banner is believed to be dead, and he must let the world think that he is dead until he can find a way to control the raging spirit that dwells within. Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
And then, go ahead.
There you go. And then the scene, right? The split face.
Yeah, then you go,
yeah.
That scared the piss out of me when I was a kid.
Well, really? The closing of that is almost as iconic. I guess we could do a closing because the fact that every episode ends with him thumbing a ride, right? He can't stay. He can't. And I guess in some ways, I'm going to bring up another one. I mean, it's very much an 80s update to The Fugitive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Fugitive was one that had really, I mean, The Fugitive intro changed by season, but it was always Richard Kimball, believed, on death row, believed guilty, blah, blah, blah. Now pursued, he has to find, the one-armed man.
Even though it was so lame that at least The Fugitive, a cop was tracking him down, but in the Incredible Hulk, it was a news reporter.
I haven't watched it in years. I don't have an effect. I love the opening, but I don't. I'm not.
It's by the way, I didn't realize how close these openings were. This is from the first season. It did change from the second season, but the first season intro for The Fugitive was name Richard Kimball, profession doctor of medicine, destination death row state prison. Richard Kimball has been tried and convicted for the murder of his wife, but laws are made by men, carried out by men, and men are imperfect. Richard Kimball is innocent. Proved guilty, what Richard Kimball could not prove was that moments before discovering his wife's body, he encountered a man running from the vicinity of his home, a man with one arm, a man who has not yet been found. Richard Kimball ponders his fate as he looks at the world for the last time and sees only darkness. But in that darkness, fate moves its huge hand. It's not too different than The Incredible Hulk.
No,
I was going to say, I don't have an affinity for the TV show. What I did have an affinity for, what I did actually, I can actually sort of watch now, even though it doesn't hold up, were the Incredible Hulk made for TV movies.
Oh, with Thor
and Daredevil. That's how I got introduced to Daredevil, and that's why it made me a Daredevil fan for life. And I'm just like, I gotta give it that.
No, I love the series. I mean, I remember watching it as a kid and loving the Incredible Hulk series.
Joe, what were you saying? I didn't hear you.
It wasn't important, but my next point is a question. So we talked about narration. But what if we sing it? Will a song work for what?
So
does it serve a narrative purpose? I guess would be my question. Well, then, yeah.
Because that was what I struggled with. I have my list, and so far we've covered most of the ones on my list. But Take My Love, Take My Land.
Yeah.
I'm like Firefly. I mean, it's narration, but does it really pertain to the show itself? I think it does.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it was written. Josh Whedon wrote it specifically to tell that story. So,
but yeah. So, Joe, do you have one?
Yeah, I have it right here. I just wanted to pull up while you were doing. I thought I had the whole lyrics but I don't have the whole lyrics. So as you're saying that, I will pull these up. So this is it. And I feel like this explains everything you're going to see. And it is a song. And there's several of these because I wanted to. So my list is much longer if we can include songs that describe what you're about to see. Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. I can't hear you.
Where are you?
Aye, aye, Captain. Oh, who lives in a
Lives in a
pineapple,
pineapple under the sea.
I was waiting for one of you to
Bob
do it.
SquarePants.
Absorbing
in yellow. SpongeBob SquarePants.
If nautical nonsense be something you wish.
Now hold on. Are you actually reading the lyrics? Do you not know the song?
I do not know the song.
Oh my God. You should have let me do it because I know the words.
Well, you didn't
say what?
fucker.
All right. SpongeBob SquarePants. Then flop on the deck or
You screwed it up.
Oh man, I had it. Go ahead.
The drop on the deck and flop,
like a fish.
SpongeBob
SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants. So I actually didn't particularly have I didn't really give a shit about SpongeBob one way or the other, even though I'm of the right age, because a lot of people we went to college with were watching SpongeBob.
I watched it. I enjoyed it. I don't, not so much now.
Actually, I have to watch it now because I have the 5-year-old.
My girl's never got into it.
And he enjoys it, especially the new Camp Krusty or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I actually don't.
Sorry, Camp Krusty. I just.
What?
Hell to me, Camp Krusty.
Oh, yeah. But I actually kind of like it. Now I see. It's interesting. I've had to watch the movies several times. The movies aren't as good as the episodes.
No.
In my opinion. They're just too much. They just
the episodes in SpongeBob are a little macabre in a lot of times, especially the one where they thought they killed the guy. I love that episode.
So I enjoy it. But as we're talking about opening narration that explains everything, it's a song, but it does explain damn near everything. It's goofy. It's a little weird. So the song sets you up for the show.
I agree with you. Yeah, I absolutely do.
Right.
So you went to animation, so let me go to animation. So I want to talk about one of my favorite opening narrations for a cartoon. It's not necessarily the opening narration. There's some music beforehand, but this narration explains it all. G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. He never gives up. He stays till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare.
Yep.
G.I. Joe.
Yep.
Perfect. Explains the whole 20-minute cartoon in 2 sentences.
Yep. I agree with you 110%. It works like game, and you just said it, and I have no idea why I didn't think of it. But it's not on my list.
And what I didn't cover is the opening part, because the opening singing covers the story too. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro fighting to save the day. He never gives up. He's always there fighting for freedom over land and air.
He stays till the fight's done. G.I. Joe was there.
Wait, so the C's not covered? I'm going to go tell Cobra. Screw it.
I think that's one of those iconic 80s children's theme songs. It beats out He-Man, which is technically an open narration. It beats out Thundercats. G.I. Joe covers it. I mean, it just tells you what you're getting ready to be into. And the man's voice is, what is it, bassy? I think it's a bass voice. I don't know how, but it just draws you
I
in.
wanted to watch it the other day so bad, and my kid, I'm trying not to show too much violence, said the man that was showing him the Jurassic Park films, but trying not to show too much violence, and they're just violent as hell.
Yeah,
I love them, but I rarely go to. That's Chad's thing, is to go to animation for comfort food. But the other day, all I wanted to do was come home and watch G.I. Joe and Amazing Stories on loop.
Yeah, I did too, man.
I didn't do any of that because life sucks.
I just
15 minutes of Predator too.
If I do get, I mean, I find movies that do provide me comfort, but honestly, if I'm just feeling like, God, I need to pick me up cartoons. I mean, I just love it. And G.I. Joe, and you know, a funny story. I think we told this in our animation episode, and I think Joe remembers it, but you know, when it first came out on DVD and we couldn't view it anywhere, and for what,
It
2
was a big
decades?
deal. You bought the damn trunk box thing.
No, I didn't. I had to buy they stopped selling that. I had to buy each one individually.
Oh,
I
my
wanted to, but I missed the opportunity. But
God.
Joe got a copy before I did, and we sit in his apartment, and we got all excited about the theme song, and then when the commercial break came in, we were like, oh. And then of course on the DVD immediately cut into the commercial show, and we're like, yay!
And they're not good. Not all of them are good.
Not all of them are good.
Some are better than others, but they're not all good.
Oh my God!
Some of them are hard to set through.
Did 80s cartoon? Why did every 80s cartoon have to have that one episode where they became a rock band and tried to hypnotize the crowd? Every single cartoon had
Our
that.
Cold Slither will be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. Why is that in my mind? That one you're talking about?
Hell, Transformers had Soundwave up there pretending to be a rock band. I'm like, it's a giant fucking tape deck. How are they not being so?
Milli Vanilli looking motherfucker up there. You ain't singing, you playing that tape, bitch.
But no, in terms of opening narration, G.I. Joe is up there for me in my list. So James, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go to another one that I saw in reruns as a kid that I still remember. And oddly enough, I mean, it's a year off, but it does get something right about what would happen with NASA. The year is 1987, and NASA launches the last of America's deep space probes. In a freak mishap, Ranger 3 and its pilot, Captain William Buck Rogers, are blown out of their trajectory into an orbit which freezes his life support systems and returns Buck Rogers to Earth 500 years later.
This happened in 1987, you said?
Yes, it was set in the distant, allegedly he leaves Earth at 1987, 1 year after 1986, which would have been the last probe or the last shuttle we launched for a while.
Yeah.
Tragically.
Well, trying to remember the history of that. Keep going.
But yeah, no, so Buck Rogers, I mean, I can't tell you, there's one episode I remember in some detail, but that opening where he freezes and it shows him spinning and then he wakes up and, you know, it's Felix Celia as Tweaky.
Can I go ahead and admit something to you all? Because I'm going
You've
to.
never seen an episode.
I don't think I've ever
Gerard
seen
Butler. Why do you hate Gerard Butler?
I don't think I've ever seen a full episode. I have seen snippets. I know of it. I have geek cards to talk about it, but I've never seen a full episode. Chad?
I've seen a few episodes. Yeah. I don't have any recall
Space
of what
1999 is another one that I don't think I've ever actually watched a full episode.
And that's it. I've never seen Space. It's not that I didn't want to. It never re-aired. Like, I don't remember. Like, Buck Rogers was shown in reruns throughout the 80s and early 90s.
But 30 years ago, if you didn't see it, you didn't see it.
Yeah, I'd watch
it better than
and
we had it better than the generation before us.
Oh yeah,
at least we had video stores. Generation before us had what a lot of them would call it, and this was only if they were in a big city, metropolitan city, where they'd have the $1 million movie or all those the old films would play it late at night, and you either caught it at 3 a.m.
or you
didn't see it.
Yeah. Chad, you're on them interwebs. Is Space 1999 streaming anywhere? I'd watch it if it was.
I don't know.
Because I've never seen it, and
While you
I
guys
feel like
talking, I'm going to look it up.
I've seen Red Dwarf, I've seen Buck Rogers, I've seen Flash Gordon, a bunch of different versions of Flash Gordon, but I've never seen Space 1999, and I think it has opening narration, but I don't know.
I've never seen it.
It's on Pluto TV. It's on the Roku channel. It's on Crackle. It's on.
Well, there you go.
It's on.
Well, we'll have to watch it.
Peacock, Chad, Amazon Prime.
Oh well, okay. I will go. I will watch. So Space 1999 fans that are listening, I apologize. Please don't kill me. I will go and watch me some Space 1999. I know the vague plot. I know the plot vaguely because it's referenced by so many other things. Even Mystery Science Theater 3000 makes a reference to. Oh, is this going to be like Space 1999? No, it's not. Okay.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead. If you say Space 1999, though, I'll punch you square in the face.
In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison
that's on my list.
By a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A team.
Dun, 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 dun.
Do.
Yeah, it was on my list. I was waiting for one of y'all to
The
take it.
A-Team is lame as hell, but it is a great premise for a show, admittedly. It's a fantastic opening. It's a fantastic
It had a great cast.
And it's a fantastic, the music's awesome. And by the way, I like Carnahan's movie that he made a few years ago, the A-Team. We are the 3 that went and saw it and enjoyed it.
By the way, I think your a few years ago may not be chronologically accurate.
Why?
It was like 2002, 2003.
Yeah, it's been way more.
It's not been that long. You guys keep talking about the A-Team, and I'll look it up.
This is one of those shows. Again, I don't agree with Joe. It's pure cheesy
2010.
2010. Oh, 2010.
I'm sorry, 12 years ago.
12
it's a dozen years ago, which is more than a few.
We're old.
I'm not that old.
Yes, you are. You're the oldest one of us.
You sons of bitches. Damn dog and you damn hippie headband wearer listening to your Beatle albums.
Crack Commando.
Out there right now listening to that damn reefer smoking band, that Cherry Garcia. I don't know. Now I'm going off wondering if Mick's going to listen to this and we get a text later. Hopefully we do. So yes, the show, the last episode I can remember ever watching was because I just flipped through it, and the only reason I stopped on it was because Sid Haig was kind of the
bad
guy, but the bad guy to the bad guy.
Yeah,
the subplot in the jail with them. So I was like, Sid. So I stopped.
I agree. I will fully agree with you that it's not great by any means. What we held as a kid. It's not Night Court. It's not Quantum Leap.
No,
A-Team suffers
much better.
Yeah. It suffers from its time, but there are still decent episodes, and it's just the same plot every episode. It's just a different villain.
Mr. T is iconic.
Yeah,
George Papard is iconic. The van is iconic.
Yeah,
it just all works. I just don't know that it's a great show. And by the way,
no, it's not. But it has that special. But yeah, you can't marathon that show because every single episode's the same damn thing. I mean, it's
if you get a chance, Dirk Benedict he played Face, and he was also in the original Battlestar Galactica. If you get a chance to go to a convention where he's at, that man is a lot of fun, but he's batshit nuts. So get you $20 and go on up and talk to him, because he'll talk to you. And if he's doing a Q&A, you attend that Q&A. You take this wisdom from your old Uncle Joe. Go to Dirk Benedict's Q&A. You'll love it.
The fact that you called yourself Uncle Joe is
didn't know what else to call me.
I'm getting anything other than a family relative nickname. It's just creepy.
Like
it's
what?
Just creepy.
Daddy Joe?
Yeah. No, that's familial. No, stop. No.
So
Hobo Joe.
Sweet step ahead Joe.
Call yourself Hobo Joe. It rolls off the tongue.
Now, how about third cousin removed Joe?
Pedo Joe rolls off the tongue.
Pedo
Joe. Good old Pedo Joe.
Pedo? Like pedophile? I thought you said hedo for a second. I was like,
no.
You're right. I am the heterosexual. You're correct. Yeah, you just listened to your fourth cousin removed, who's just close enough, but not quite close enough that you still can't sleep with Joe. And go to Dirk Benedict Q&A. Who's next?
All right. So this falls into the category of modern great narration that, well, not modern, it's mid-90s. But 1,000 years ago, superstition and the sword ruled. An amazing opening line. It was a time of darkness. It was a world of fear. It was the age of gargoyles. We were betrayed, stoned by day, warriors by night. We were betrayed
by many days.
Yeah. We were betrayed by the humans we had sworn to protect, frozen in stone by magic spell for 1,000 years. Now here in Manhattan, the spell is broken and we live again. We are defenders of the night. We are gargoyles. Now just imagine Keith David doing that. And it's amazing. That is an awesome opening narration.
I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of Gargoyles in my life.
Oh, Gargoyles is a great animation. It really is. And it tells a continuous story.
I don't argue with you at all. It's one of those things I've just never bothered to watch.
And it was just
Sound of Music.
It was one of those rare instances of an animation doing what modern television is doing now, of just continually telling a story.
Yeah.
Every episode is connected.
I mean, Jonathan Frakes got a lot of questions about it. I mean, people are still pretty.
Oh, I love, yeah. Gargoyles is amazing. And Ed Asner as Hudson. I mean, but anyway.
Stow that shit, Hudson. Hudson, get over here.
He doesn't say that, but no, the narration for that and them basically telling you the whole story of these creatures before the episode even begins. It just sets up the story beautifully, and it's told, and Keith David's amazing narration just sets the tone for the whole show. That's good. The next 20 minutes. I guess I'm the only one of the three of us who had an affinity towards Gargoyles.
Actually, I really like Gargoyles. I just honestly, I haven't seen it in so long. I need to go back and watch
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I had the DVDs before. Of course, I'm glad I have the DVDs. Of course, as with everything Disney, they never released the whole series on DVD. But maybe one day.
Rat bastards.
James, what you got?
I'm going to do one that actually.
Oh my God, James.
What? Did I get loud? Is this louder now?
Anyway, it's getting loud in here.
That's the second time you've done that to me. Oh my God, my palpitations.
I didn't do anything different. It's just, anyway, I'm going to do one that technically I need to do 3 to do 1. And that's because it does change season to season and it sets up what you're going to see. And I'll start with season 1, obviously. It was the dawn of the third age of mankind, 10 years after the Earth-Minbari War. The Babylon Project was dream given form. Its goal to prevent another war by creating a place where humans and aliens could work out their differences peacefully. Its port of call, home away from home for diplomats, hustlers, entrepreneurs, and wanderers. Humans and aliens wrapped in 2,500,000 tons of spinning metal, all alone in the night. It can be a dangerous place, but it's our best hope for peace. This is the story of the last of the Babylon stations. The year is 2258. The name of the place is Babylon 5. That's season 1.
Yeah.
What I love about that is they didn't go the Star Trek route where, okay, we're still exploring even though we're at war. Nope. By the time we get to season 2, the narration becomes the Babylon Project was our last best hope for peace. A self-contained world 5 miles long located in neutral territory. A place of commerce and diplomacy for 250,000 humans and aliens. A shining beacon in space, all alone in the night. It was the dawn of the third age of mankind. The year the Great War came upon us all. This is the story of the last of the Babylon stations. The year is 2259. The name of the place is Babylon 5. What I love, though, is by the time we get to the 3rd season, the narration is done by someone else, and it just becomes much shorter. The Babylon Project was our last best hope for peace. It failed. But in the year of the Shadow War, it became something greater, our last best hope for victory. The year is 2260. The place, Babylon 5.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize the narration changed. Of course, I haven't finished the show. So
no, I mean literally, and by the time you get to season 4, they each take turns doing a line, and it sets up. I mean, because season 4 it was meant to be 5 seasons. JMS got all 5 seasons done. But I mean, so the season 4, I won't do season 5 because it spoils things if you haven't watched the other season. But season 4, they take turns doing lines. Different. I mean, the aliens do lines and everything else. It was the year of fire, the year of destruction, the year we took back what was ours. It was the year of rebirth, the year of great sadness, the year of pain, and the year of joy. It was a new age. It was the end of history. It was the year everything changed. The year is 2261. The place, Babylon 5. And that's what I love about, that's a show that uses its introduction to set up, if you missed the season cliffhanger the year before, back before we could rush out and get it on DVD, you could pick up and be like, oh crap, things have changed. They're at war now. Something else is going on. And because every season covered a year, you knew exactly where you were. Except for season 5, and again, I'm not going to do season 5, but season 5, if you had to see the others, you were host, because it literally samples lines from other shows, other episodes. But Babylon 5 has one of the best dramatic intro. Like Star Trek is iconic, but it's not overly dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Babylon 5 really ups the drama of what their thing does, because it's like, oh, this is our best last hope for peace, and then 2 seasons later, it failed. We're doomed, but this is our best chance of winning. And so I think that's a great way to use a narration. And Babylon 5 is one of the ones that does it really well.
All right. Does anybody have any honorable mentions? Because I was actually going to ask, because I have one. I don't have any honorable mentions, but I do have one that do you all know of any bad opening narrations?
Well,
I have an honorable mention before we do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have an honorable mention. You go first, Joe.
Come and listen to a story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. Then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground comes some bubbling crude. Oh, that is black gold Texas tea. I won't do the rest of it. Well, the first thing Jed's
that was
a millionaire. So say, Dad,
He's
move on from there.
it. He said
California is the place you ought to be. So he moved up. He loaded up the truck and moved the family Beverly Hills.
He said
I just like the Beverly Hillbilly. I haven't seen it in years.
It's another one. If you didn't see the pilot,
Mhm.
it tells you how he got the money.
Yeah.
Indirectly. I mean, it doesn't tell exactly, because he actually didn't find oil. They had ran a pipeline across his land illegally, and he shoots it.
And it was Eric Eleniak's second best performance.
Well, her 2 best performances are Under Siege. Keep going, James.
Well, anyway, I was going to say, sorry.
You got it caught up at Eric Eleniak's 2 best performances.
Chasers.
I was actually going to say, so I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I don't care. I watched He-Man as most people did. If you're of our age, you saw episode 2 of He-Man at some point.
Yeah.
I think, Joe, do you have the Christmas special on DVD?
I do. I watched
do
it
too.
Years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not.
You gave it to me as a gift.
Yeah, that's
along with Grumpy Cat, you motherfucker.
I think you gave us all a copy of He-Man's Christmas special one year.
It's a gift that keeps on giving. Anyway,
I have watched it.
I'm going to be honest.
Why do you always say that? Only liars say that.
There is a show that I always liked better than He-Man. Didn't run as long, wasn't as heavily marketed, not a lot of toys made, but it too had opening narration. It was inspired in part by Conan the Barbarian and Flash Gordon and things like that. And here is the opening narration. Again, it looks at the far-flung future as it begins. In the year 1994, from out of space comes a runaway planet hurtling through between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction. Human civilization is cast in ruin. 2,000 years later, so we're now at 1394. I'm sorry, 2,000 would be 3,994. I suck at math. Anyway, 2,000 years later, Earth is re-civilized. With a strange new world rises from the old, a world of savagery, super science, and sorcery. But one man bursts his bonds to fight for justice. With his companions, I love this, Ukla the Mock and Princess Ariel, he pits his strength, his courage, and his fabulous sword against the forces of evil. He is Thundar, the Barbarian.
Boy, that's
God, what a great show.
There.
And then the other one I'll do a quick honorable mention for, because I mentioned it before, and this opening narration is burnt into my head. It's the 16th century. From all over Europe, great ships sail west to conquer the New World. The Americas, the men eager to seek their fortune, to find new adventures in new lands, to find the mysterious cities of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Cities of Gold. I love that show. I need to find it on DVD.
I remember that one a little bit.
Cities of Gold.
Cities of Gold, dude. It was a joint partnership between the French and the Japanese animation. It was a co-production. It aired on Nickelodeon when Nickelodeon first got started. and they find these cities of gold, and one of them has a great flying eagle that they learn to pilot. I loved it as a kid. I literally haven't seen
By
it
the way,
since.
you're a dumb son of a bitch. It's the mystery city, the mysterious cities of gold.
I know. Yeah.
But you said cities of gold.
Well,
He don't
the
know.
narration
He
says
don't know.
that they're
Go
looking
ahead.
for the cities of gold. They don't say they're looking for the mysterious cities of gold. I
He
was doing the
don't
opening
know.
narration.
He don't know.
He don't
Just
know.
go ahead and tell us which ones suck. Because he don't know.
I'm amazed none of you brought up JC and the Wild Warriors. I don't
I
even
don't
know what
know.
that is. I don't know.
I
what
know
that
what
is.
it is. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you an episode.
You don't know. He don't know.
Before we end, is there a bad? Can you all think? Because I got one.
I got one.
Is there a bad opening narration? Joe, go.
Yes. You want to hear it?
Yeah, go for
Are
it.
you sure?
Yeah.
Mass crusaders working all the time, fighting crime. Secret raiders who will neutralize as soon as they arrive. Trekker's going to lead the mission, and Spectrum's got such supervision. Mask is the mighty power that could save the day.
Oh man,
Mask.
the thought, the beat.
Masquerades. Mask always riding on Venom's trail. Come see the laser rays fly away.
The song.
I have an affinity for it, but I was reading it and I was like, this is kind of bad.
Did you check it out on Tubi like I recommend it?
Well, I had a couple of the toys. I watched
Yeah,
it.
I mean, but you can watch all the episodes on Tubi. This the opening theme song. Yes, the lyrics are garbage, but the synth and the lyric, man.
I'm just saying, when I wasn't even going to pick on it. I looked it up. I wasn't even going to pick on it because I looked it up because I thought I might do it if you grabbed a couple of the other ones I was going to do.
Yeah.
But then when I started reading it, when James was talking, because he don't know.
He just don't know.
And I was like, Jesus, these lyrics are garbage.
And they are total garbage.
Bad. I never really thought about it.
But I just can imagine the guy going in singing. He had that pure, that long 80s metal hair and just rocking it, thinking it was the best thing ever. And then I just wonder now he's bald like I am. And he goes back and listens to it and goes, oh my God, this made no sense. How much coke was I on?
Well, there's a 2.5 Men that actually deals with this about writing shitty theme songs for kids' cartoons. Because
really?
Charlie is that's what he does on the show. Well, he doesn't write them just for kids' cartoons, but he writes songs. He's a songwriter.
James, do you have one?
There's tons of shows that have terrible intros, but I'm having really a hard time picking one. So go ahead, Chad.
All right.
You don't know.
Mine, it's not only the worst opening narration, in my opinion, it has the worst opening of any TV show I have ever seen.
And it got 6 seasons.
No, I think
a movie.
I didn't look how many seasons it got. It got 5 seasons. Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality, but there is, unseen by most, an underworld, a place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit.
Yeah.
A dark side. I hate that. I hate it. And I hate the opening.
That's Tales from the Dark Side.
I like them. I like the episodes, but the opening's terrible.
Oh, I don't know that I feel that way.
Really, it's just random images of scenery, and then at the end when he says a dark side, it does that weird, that awful like negative flip.
Yeah. That was shit in 84, bud.
I guess, but God, it's terrible. I never did like it. I just thought it was corny as hell. I just couldn't. And the narration I thought was tacked on. It was nothing about that set up the episodes for me.
It's no Tales from the Crypt opening, but the Tales from the Crypt opening didn't have any narration.
But the beat itself.
No, it's the best TV show openings of all time.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do songs, there's one more honorable mention we probably should do, or we will hear about it.
No, we won't. Nobody listen.
Nope.
Chad, I'd like to take a moment to tell you how I became the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
It showed up on every damn list I pulled up.
I didn't think about it, but I mean, it is one that I mean, people know
How did you
If
all
we were
miss
gonna
it?
do
Because it's on
songs,
every list.
I didn't look up lists.
I didn't look up lists. I went by things I knew.
You should look up lists because you'd be shocked because all of them had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I
Nah.
did. Yeah.
I'd rather just pull my own memories. I like my memories.
However, they're right, and James is right. People know
Yeah.
that.
It's iconic. Yeah. I'm trying to remember how it's the opening line. If I can say the opening line, I know the whole song, I think. West Philly, born and raised.
On the
The
playground.
playground is where I spent most of my days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah,
Got in
another
one
show
little
that
fight,
uses.
and my mom got scared. She says you're
Moving with your
going to live
auntie.
with your aunt and auntie and uncle and your aunt and uncle in Bel Air.
Unky.
Do.
So anyway,
I
so
want
By the way, another show that used narration a lot in opening and is still mocked by at least Family Guy for it is Soap. This is the story of two sisters.
yeah, I don't think people remember Soap.
No, actually, that's the entire thing. Like, if
Soap
you
and
watch
Log.
when they did the Stewie Griffin story, which originally kids came out on DVD, and that's how you got it. But when Fox brought Family Guy back and split it into 3 episodes, after the first half-hour episode, if you watched it on TV, the second episode began with, will Stewie find out who this man is that he thinks is his father? And then the last line is, will any modern-day audience get this soap reference? Find out on this week's Family Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Is that it?
I mean, there's tons of other shows, but why don't, if we left out your favorite narration show, feel free to do it by letting us know. Comment on the episode. Actually, it'd be great if we logged on to YouTube and there were comments underneath it. Let us know what we missed.
We get one.
Yeah.
Somebody corrected us a couple of weeks ago, so
That's nice. I mean, I'll take it. I mean,
Yeah.
quite frankly, I'd feel better about the downvote on the Vincent Price episodes if they would have told me what they didn't like.
oh my God, let it go.
I won't. It's Vincent Price. I mean, you can mock me. I'm a hideous cave troll of a human, but don't diss Vincent Price.
This has been Bonehead Weekly.